and welcome to your weekly tarot reading. This will be from the 18th to 25th of February. You've got an awful lot of swords cards, Aries, which the swords cards represent our thinking, okay? Now, what I really like, really unusual to see this, okay? Because your crowning card is the Ace of Swords. So all the aces are gifts. You can't see it in this one, but they tend to be shown with a hand, and it's the hand of the divine, whatever word that you use for these gifts that we receive. This is the gift of clear sight, okay? And I really love seeing this for you. And what's so unusual, at the bottom of the deck, you've got the Ten of Swords. Now, please don't fear the Ten of Swords, because I'm not a reader who instills thinking about chaos and, catastrophe in life. The Ten of Swords is the ending of a cycle, okay? Sometimes when I pull it, I always think, all right, there's a whole cycle that's ended, okay? I tend to see it as no longer being controlled by thinking. So our thinking processes is what keeps us trapped, okay? Think of cards like the Eight of Swords, the Five of Swords. When you're in a state of conflict, they tend to represent the mind going over repetitive patterns. This is about having clear sight, clear clarity, and the Ten of Swords is no longer being controlled by your thinking. Sometimes it represents taking a leap of faith as you decide one chapter of your life is over, so a new one can begin. And this doesn't have to represent external factors. It can be an inner process. When you lead your life through your heart and not your mind, okay? Now, your additional guidance card is my favourite in this whole deck. It's the regeneration card. What this tends to show up as, sometimes we feel situations are lost. We've missed opportunities, something hasn't worked out, and the regeneration card means something coming back into our lives. Very similar to the judgment card in the regular tarot, but it's about rebirth, it's about spring, it's about new growth. Now, I'm not sure when this card will appear for you during the week, but some of you might be a point during the week when you think, right, that's the end of this, something's over, and then new life starts to come through for you and the signs of new growth. Because I've just turned around and you've got the Ace of Cups. So two aces, really good signs. The aces are all gifts, they're new chapters, they're new beginnings. And you've got two of them, which really clarifies the regeneration card about new life coming forward. Now, the Ace of Cups, I want you to look quite clearly. There's so many meanings to every card. I think most of you know this. For some of you, this is a brand new chapter in love. But for others of you, it's learning to live through your heart and not your head. Because all the head does is manufacture anxiety, fear, and the past keeps repeating itself, and we don't understand why we don't get these new opportunities and this new growth. And it's because we keep seeing our life through the lens of the past. This is about leading through your heart, joining your mind and your heart together, and seeing the world the way the divine sees the world, in a state of wholeness and completion. Absolutely beautiful card. For some of you, this is new love. If it's new love, you can't control it, because the aces are like the major arcanas. They're gifts from the divine that we don't have the control over. So for some of you, this is a date with destiny. The planets are in perfect alignment and there's a meeting with someone, okay? because you do have the Nine of Cups as well, the wish fulfilling card, emotional prosperity, having plenty to share, your cups running over, and all these cups are here for other people to take. So you're not withdrawing or clinging. You're in a beautiful state of emotional openness, Aries, okay? So anytime you feel yourself getting drawn into old mental patterns, bring yourself back to your heart energy, because the heart is the most important spiritual center of all. The heart and the spiritual eye. And the rest is simply, I don't want to say rubbish, but it's just our old conditioning and it's our old habit patterns. So you might be working quite hard this week, Aries, at renewing yourself and allowing new life in. Now, with these emotional energies, there still is a sense of waiting. Now, don't get worried, okay? No one likes waiting. But who in the world wants food that's half cooked? Who in the world wants unripened fruit? So waiting time is not wasted time. Waiting time is allowing the processes of our life to unfold in a healthy, organic way, okay? I don't know about you, Aries, but everything I've pushed for in life, I tend to not want when I get, because life has a perfect order, and what we have to do is learn to work with our impatience and our impulsiveness to allow the order to happen for us in divine timing, exactly what this Ace of Cups means, because there's definitely waiting, because look, you've got the Hermit and the Two of Swords, both cards about inner reflection, removing a lot of your energy and going within to find that place of peace, that place of joy which exists within us. And there's no one in this world who doesn't have access to their inner joy. Sometimes it's hard to find, and what makes it hard to find is our thinking processes. So, I love both these cards. The Two of Swords is, I mean, she's got a golden blindfold, so it can be a feeling of stalemate, but it's not a card about worry. She is so peaceful. Look at the waters. I mean, they're a little bit, tiny bit stormy, but they're alive and they're wild, and she's got this perfect peace. And the Hermit is a bit inner reflection, and that's what makes this lamp turn golden, okay? We turn our experience into wisdom, and then we become that wise teacher for other people. Okay, very interesting here. There's this emotional joy coupled with waiting. But I want you to remember the regeneration card. Do not be controlled by your old thinking. If you change the way you see the world changes. It's simple. It's that simple, Aries. And you're getting this gift of clarity to see that, okay? Now, you fall into a funny place around Thursday or Friday when a lot of the old thinking patterns are going to come back, because that's the way it happens. When we get the gift of new awareness, we have massive breakthroughs, and then we go back a little bit, you know, that step forward, step back. Don't have any issues about it. Be gentle and just allow it to happen, because in a way, when we do take that step backwards, we understand things from a deeper and more powerful perspective. And then again, change keeps happening, because you get the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords is a card, it's traditionally called the deception card, okay? Sometimes he's looking back at these swords he's left behind as a sense of being in an archway, not being in your new future, but no longer being in the past. So there can be a feeling of being a bit stuck, but what is really stuck here is the thinking. So your thinking processes are robbing you of being in the present moment, of being in peace, which is our divine birthright. Very interesting reading here, Aries. So much personal development going on for you. And that's what's been around for the last couple of months. An awful lot of growth. But this is your mind playing tricks on you, robbing you of your peace and your clarity. And it's with the Devil card. So a Devil card, again, multiple meanings. The most shallowest meaning is a state of imbalance. Okay, something's robbing you of your balance, and I would say that was your thinking. It can be feeling stuck and feeling frustrated, but the Devil card's got a much deeper meaning. It's got the pagan symbol behind it of transformation, and a lot of pagan transformation is through fire, and this Devil is half in flames, and we all have to cross through this threshold, and we all have to meet the Devil. It's about meeting our fears, our limitations, those places where we get stuck and we feel we cannot break through to the other side. Okay? It's always about facing fear. And when we face our fear, we begin to transform. The fire is what changes things in the tarot and in yoga philosophy. So there's definitely a really deep transformative energy. You then go to the Six of Swords, more swords, and the Four of Swords. So this is a retreat card. It's a card of healing, retreat, withdraw in order to recharge your batteries. Okay? Very, very peaceful card, but definitely a card of withdrawal. It's with the Six of Swords. Now, I adore this card, okay? Again, it's a sword card. So it has got a bit of a shadow side to it. On the most positive side, there's a real peacefulness to this card, because look at the water. Look at, which is your emotions. And it's got the full moon, and it's got the weeping willow, which means there's a feeling of protection around you, Aries, okay? My one thing is, Aries, you're taking these Six Swords with you, which are still your thinking patterns, to this new chapter she's going to. You can't quite see where she's going, but she's moving forward. Now, what are these swords? Okay, because the only ability, swords are for cutting through deception and cutting through mental patterns. They're not for building your new future with. So sometimes these swords are our thinking processes. An example would be, you know, it's thinking processes that keep us limited. And I'd like you to consider what's in this boat, and do you want to create your future with it? I especially don't want you to create your future with this card. If anything, I want you to create your future with these cards, this new beginning. And the only way you're going to really get these new beginnings is to no longer be controlled by our conditioned thinking. There's no other way, Aries. And I've been doing this work for a really, really, really long time. And it's always the same, that we need to examine our perception and our perspectives about life, about what's keeping us trapped. To get a new beginning, you need to let go of the past that's holding you back. A fascinating reading. There's life coming back here, Aries. There's a lot of signs of spring and of new potential. You're going to have to pay attention to your thinking patterns, because that's what's going to create your new future. And that is what you're in charge of. Meditate, meditate, and meditate. That's my answer to everything. Okay, Aries, I'll speak to you later. Bye.